Hey everybody, I'm Megalodon, and today we're going to be talking about why Pig has a flat butt and she needs a booty rework in the next update. Nah, I'm kidding. We all know what I'm about to talk about since every small DBD YouTuber is using this to blow up their channels, and honestly, I want views, so I'm gonna take a crack at it. So, would Springtrap work in the dumpster fire we know and love, Dead by Daylight? My opinion? Maybe. Before we get introduced to the man behind the slaughter himself, let's address the main thing that is keeping some people from jumping on board the Springtrap bandwagon, the Five Nights at Freddy's community. Now we can all agree the last time most of us saw the FNAF community, well, it wasn't doing too hot. From the huge influx of children to the people with 12 terabytes of NSFW Freddy X Night Guard on their greasy 2009 HP laptops, it was not something that a lot of people found a very good sight to see. But in recent years, it seems that the kids have grown up and the game is appealing to a more mature audience, the kind that would bring some new life into the Dead by Daylight community. Honestly, I really feel like the two communities would slot in well together and combine in a way similar to how the Silent Hill fans did with this last chapter, but that's just me. I don't know. Now, let's get to the elephant in the room. Springtrap, also known as William Afton, was a psychopathic serial killer known for his mysterious motives, slender physique, and his iconic purple outfit. For any of you who are confused, the reason the animatronics are haunted and the games take place is because this dude game-ended 15 children and put them into animatronic suits, causing the franchise we know today. Now you're probably wondering, how did this guy end up as a robot? Well, funny story, he climbed inside an old damp springlock suit which just so happened to unleash an entire metal endoskeleton into his body, giving him a slow and painful demise. Brutal, right? Well, anyway, Springtrap was trapped in the boarded-off room at the attraction that later became known as Fazbear Fright. We will talk more about that later, where he was eventually unleashed in the third installment of Five Nights at Freddy's to rip you to pieces to your heart's content. So, how would he work in Dead by Daylight? In order for Springtrap to work properly and not turn out like Leatherface and Kruger did on launch, then he will need proper execution. First off, ambiance is key here. If they want this chapter to actually be taken seriously instead of being chased around by an oversized furry for 5 gens, then they need to achieve proper ambiance. Several fan-made chase musics and lobby musics have been cropping up recently, some are much better than others, but overall, if the developers can achieve the suspense of dread and overall fear that these good chase musics have been presenting, that's kind of what caused this whole thing to crop up, it'll actually really help in making him an intimidating killer. Secondly, it needs to be all about Springtrap. We can have a map, but I don't feel like a survivor would really fit this chapter very well due to the fact that we literally don't even have a candidate. There just aren't any human characters other than him and the kids that we see in the games. I feel like if they want this chapter to live up to the expectations, making Springtrap a well-rounded, fun, and intimidating killer, and also providing us with an interesting map, would probably be key to actually making this work. Now about that map, I spoke earlier about Fazbear Fright, which would be the obvious candidate for a Five Nights at Freddy's map, as it's where the game that Springtrap is present in takes place, and the overall color palette and layout would fit Dead by Daylight really well. Now, as we have the Clock Tower Easter egg on Midwich Elementary School, and the Five Nights at Freddy's series is notorious for its Easter eggs, I think that it would be really cool if there was a detailed map Easter egg that would lead to the Golden Pool Box. Like how in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, you punched in the tiles on the wall and you had to type in a code into the arcade machine to activate the Easter eggs necessary to get the secret, the best ending. Another possible feature on the map could be vents that survivors of the killer can crawl through, adding more ambiance and things to explore on the map overall. For Springtrap's power, I feel like it would be something related to his spring locks. Maybe he could place them on generators and the next person who worked on it got spring locked and injured, but he can only carry 4 or 5. I saw a really interesting concept that was suits that you could place survivors into and make them have to do skill checks to survive. And I also think that a dash ability, like how Foxy runs down the hallway in FNAF 1, but Springtrap can't turn and he can go through pallets and breakable walls, I think that would also be a really cool ability. In conclusion, I feel like Springtrap would work pretty well in Dead by Daylight if he was done properly. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree with any of my thoughts and opinions expressed in this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.